relationships. So early, a couple of minutes ago, you mentioned, shall we talk about love and relationships? I see business as that kind of relationship
Of
as well. They're
course.
very similar because you're building relationships with clients and customer, and it is a kind of relationship. Yes, it might not be the same as a romantic relationship,
But it
but
still
it
needs
is a
work.
relationship and it still needs work. So friendship needs work because you need to be honest, and sometimes you need to say the hard things because that's what true friendship is. You need to tell a friend that, hey, I don't think you're doing the right thing here. If you do this, this might happen, and you give the options, not in a discouraging way, because that's very important. No, I'm not for discouraging, but like the eye opener kind of friend. So listen, if you do this, these are your options. Choose wisely. If I were in a position, I would choose this because of X, Y, and Z reasons, but you have to consider this because you're in this situation as well. If you have a loan, if you have children, if you have a family. So I would give my 2 cents, but not in a discouraging way. So
Exactly.
I think discouraging is the easiest thing to do because we're projecting our own fears onto someone else. That's very easy to do. So even if you don't know how to start a business, I have no idea, but you can still encourage them. Give it a shot. If it doesn't work out, oh well, you can still find another job, another employment because you have this skill, you have this skill, and you have this skill. So even if you don't know how what's like to start a business, if you're a good friend, you will highlight the skills that that person has, and whether they will be successful as entrepreneurs or successful as employees, they still have their good aspects. And so in times like this,
I
you need
know.
to highlight it.
And also with friends and anyone really, sometimes they talk to you about a problem and you're going through a much bigger problem than this, right? It's not a competition of who
Yes,
has the
yes, yes,
biggest
yes, yes, yes.
problem, but we tend to say, oh, but I'm going through this, feel better because mine is worse. No, because for that person,
Yes.
that problem is their biggest problem. And
Yeah.
even if in your eyes it's the stupidest thing,
Yes, yes.
like, you're thinking, I'm dealing with like 10 zillion times more, hassle than you. You still have to think that is a problem, big problem
Yes.
for them. And if you're seeing it too small or you don't want to handle, you might need to be honest and say, listen, at the moment, there isn't much I can give you because I'm inundated myself. So, and another thing, when we talk to people, sometimes we tell them, oh, yeah, I know how you're feeling. No, you don't know how I'm feeling. You don't know how I am feeling. You can say, I can imagine that you might be feeling this way, but I don't know because I'm not in your situation, or if you've been in a similar situation, then you can relate.
Even if you share the same situation, everyone is
One handles it differently.
changing jobs, for example. Everyone
Yes.
changed jobs. I mean, it's very common nowadays. Very few
Yes.
people stay in the same employment for 30 years.
But for everyone, it's different.
But for everyone, it's different. So you can share the experience or the type of experience, but you would internalize it in a different way. So and the challenges and what you fear is totally different. So you can meet the person at a level of experience, but it's fun to look and to try to understand the experience from the other person's eyes because it's fun. You got to experience that same thing that you experienced, but from a different
And
angle.
people handle. I remember when my father got very sick and then he passed away. And I remember so clearly with three, yeah? I'm a twin and my older sister. We all handled it differently. The three of us. And I remember this so clearly. Till the end, I was the one thinking very naively, like he'll somehow make it. I was so hopeful. The hope I had was crazy. Where I think my sister was more, realistic, like, Roz, please manage your expectations. My brother was more maybe less vocal, but I think his expectations were even better managed than mine. And then when unfortunately he passed away, again, we all handled it differently. For one, I rebelled. I was very rebellious. I said, I live once. I was very angry. I had a lot of anger at God, and because I believe a lot in God. Until today, I believe, even though he really annoys me sometimes, and I get angry. I say, what are you doing? Listen a little bit. But I don't show it a lot, but I'm very spiritual as a person. I like my little prayer moment, and I like to go to my church, and, I have these little moments anyway. And I was really angry, and I rebelled. And I was like starting to go out. I had recently got married, but I just decided I just want to have some more fun, because I'm going to die,
Yeah.
Then I calmed down. So yes, I think again, sometimes when people talk to you about their loss, you know, and or they're going through a phase of facing an illness of a family member or of a friend, it doesn't mean because you handled it in one way, it means everyone is going to handle it in the same way. And I don't think there's right or wrong. And I think another thing, which is I really, really strongly believe in, we shouldn't judge. You know, some people are very judgmental, as to say, oh, you know, you should be ashamed of yourself. You started going out, or you can't judge because you don't know what the person is going through.
And you don't know why the person is behaving like that.
Exactly.
Sometimes even the person doesn't know why they're behaving that way.
Exactly.
So I think we need to be a little bit patient and assume